I thought we have heard the end of this. There's a Winnie the Pooh 2. Why? This movie didn't even do great, but it deserves a sequel. I don't know. I thought it was bad enough that they were just blokes in Halloween masks. But apparently, according to the budget, it's going to be a lot better than the first movie. And that it actually has a story behind it. So, okay, this should be interesting. So, I'm back again, guys. I did say I was going to make a Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2 at some point. But, yeah, I've been busy. I've kind of just forgotten about the Blood and Honey 2 until I saw my last video and the views it got. I was like, okay, why not make Blood and Honey 2 and get people interested in the movie, seeing that this movie is actually better than the first one and it actually has a story. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to be talking about Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2 and why I think this movie sucks, because it still sucks even though it's a improvement to the first one, but how can you take it seriously? I'm going to do a quick recap of what happened in the first movie, but I'm not going to mention every single thing. You're just going to have to go watch my first video on Blood and Honey 1 to get the full story. Also, I want to apologise that when I first watched my video on Blood and Honey 1, I realised that the screen recording isn't good. It's a little laggy. That's based on my laptop and the shit screen recording it had, and that the audio is a bit fucked up. Again, I was very new to editing, so I didn't really know how to fix my audio. I still kind of struggle with my audio to this day, but if you want to know the full detail, go watch my first video on Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 1 to get the full story. So, onto the recap. Christopher Robin meets Pooh and the gang in the 100 Acre Wood, and he befriends them and everything, and then he has to go to college, and then they get mad, then they get hungry, and then they eat Eeyore of all people because they have nothing left to eat. Then they get revenge on Christopher Robin for Eeyore's death. Christopher Robin comes to the 100 Acre Woods with his fiancée Mary, who sadly gets killed because Christopher Robin didn't do anything to help Mary when Mary was getting strangled. Then he gets kidnapped by Pooh and Piglet, and then we have some random girls who go to the woods and get themselves murdered. Maria ends up meeting these guys and then asking them for help, but they get murdered. This girl gets murdered. A lot of people get murdered, and then Pooh kills her friend, throws the head onto the windshield wipers, and then she smothers the blood on the windshield wipers, and she's just freaking out. She gets dragged off. Pooh is about to kill her. Christopher Robin comes out of nowhere, kills Pooh, sort of, and then Pooh comes back to life, grabs Maria, shouts, "You left," kills Maria, slitting her throat, and then carries on stabbing her as Christopher Robin runs off. The end. No post credits. I checked. Yeah, that's the recap. The quicker way I could explain it. It's just so stupid. But yeah, let's just hope Blood and Honey 2 is better than Blood and Honey 1. Let's get on with it. So we start off with a backstory of Winnie the Pooh, and it's a different backstory. It's not the same backstory from before. The narrator talks about the 100 Acre Woods massacre that happened in the first movie in Ashtown, and that Christopher Robin is now being labelled as a killer because people are suspicious, and they're think that he killed all the girls from the first movie. And then there are some people that believe him, some people don't, some people feel like he did kill them. But he is now a young doctor, and Winnie and the gang are still angry at him. They still blame him for probably Eeyore's death when they're the ones who killed Eeyore. So then we cut to 3 women in the caravan in the middle of the woods, and they are fucking with spirits. Then a loud sound happened and the door is opened, and I'm thinking to myself, who opened the door? Why is the door open? Why didn't you close the door? But then the black girl dies first because Winnie impales her with a stick. Winnie then comes out of nowhere and then just traps this girl's fingers, and her fingers are just they grew or something. I've had my hand trapped in a door before, and let me tell you something, that does not happen. And then he tips over the girl's caravan. One girl manages to escape from the caravan, but Pooh sees her because she drives away from her car that makes loads of noise, and then drags her out of the car, then snaps every piece of her body, arm and leg, and the noise is very, very disgusting, and I'm not going to put it on because I don't want to fucking make you guys ill. And then the girl who got her hand impaled is still in the caravan, and she's on fire, and She comes out and she looks destroyed and everything. And then Blondie gets her face impaled. The girl is still crawling to get away from Pooh. And then Al comes out of nowhere and he talks. He's like, who's the abomination now?
Who's the abomination now?
Still you? You look like an abomination. What the fuck are you? You're half owl, half witch, half crow. Kills this girl with like a WWE move. He does like a really goofy pose and then the movie just starts, guys. That's the intro. The opening just starts off with Christopher Robin in therapy about his PTSD. He talks about how he used to hang out with Pooh and the gang and how they used to be friends and that, and his friend Lexi comes out and she's just outside in the car supporting him, like she's waiting for him. I don't know if they're in a relationship, but like you can kind of tell they like each other, which means he definitely forgot Mary. Like he didn't give a shit about his fiance that got murdered in the first movie. So Christopher Robin tells Lexi that you should stay away because a lot of people have been killed and his parents are getting harassed in the streets. His little sister is getting bullied at school and he's also getting bullied and called names. But Lexi's like, no, I'm not going to stay away. I believe you. I'm here to support you. I don't think you were involved in killing those people. And then we cut to a next scene where Christopher Robin's car has been vandalized and it has murderer written on his car. And then there's like 3 dudes from South London who is hunting Pooh and the gang down because they believe Christopher Robin and they know that he isn't capable of doing those things. And also because one of the guy's girlfriends went out in the woods and never came back. So, and then he's looking for those fuckers to kill them and to take them down. But like they have no torches. So they're literally hunting these creatures down in the dark where you can't even see anything really. Then we cut to Owl just flying and then they're in this like little hideout where you see Pooh, Piglet and Owl just like talking and stuff. By the way, yeah, Piglet is alive. He died in the first movie, but he's back in the second one. I do not know. I don't know why he's back in the movie, but don't get your hopes up because he doesn't last long. So they talk about like what's going on and that they are complaining that they are being hunted down by people and that they should take the fight to the humans first because eventually if we give up, the humans will come after us and kill us. So let's take the fight to them. And I think to myself, if you don't want humans to hunt you down and to kill you, right? Stop killing their people first. Stop killing their family, friends and loved ones first if you don't want them to hunt you down. Like they have a valid reason why they're hunting you down. It's because you're killing people that they love and you're complaining about being hunted. I mean, they have a valid reason. It's so stupid. But anyway, they say like, we trusted Christopher Robin. Over what exactly? What? You trusted him with what? Like, as far as I'm aware, they're still mad that he went to college, which is such a bad reason. As the 3 dudes are walking in the dark, no torches, Piglet comes out of nowhere and talks to them saying, all of Ashdown will burn, but gets his head blown off.
I've never seen anything like it. Chris was right.
All of Ashdown will burn.
Fuck off.
What was the point of having him in this movie if he was just going to get his head blown off? Like, he lasted a full-blown 15 minutes in the movie and he didn't even kill anyone, so... yeah, rip to Piglet, the idiot. Pooh comes out of nowhere, hits this dude, and then Pooh grabs this dude's gun and accidentally shoots his friend's head. And then Pooh impales this guy by putting a gun through this guy's head, and he is still able to communicate somehow. And it's quite funny that he was able to impale him with a gun, so the gun doesn't even have a sharp edge. Like there's nothing sharp at the end of the gun. It's now 5 a.m. I think, and this dude is still alive, and he gets up for a second and then he passes out. HSN, Health Service National, what? So Christopher is at the hospital helping the patient and gets called by the doctor. The doctor fires him because of the rumors and complains horror movie that has come out has shown him that Christopher Robin is like a murderer or something. Like, people are like making movies about him being a murderer, and because of this he's been let go of the hospital. After realizing that he is no longer employed, the guy before is found and he's being dragged away by doctors, and Christopher's like, yeah, I know him, yeah, he's like a guy that I went to school with, like, that's my friend or something. I'm like, okay. And then we get the scene with Christopher Robin talking to his parents, and we get a scene where knives are held up like that. What the hell? And it's also kind of foreshadowing what's gonna happen with the knives. You know what's more funnier? The fact that they get like their 4-year-old daughter to handle those knives. To be honest, no one should be putting knives up like that, let alone getting a 4-year-old to do it for you. Like, what the fuck? Then Christopher Robin's sister, called Bunny, is talking to a bear and just having a talk about keeping her safe. I mean, that teddy bear is freaky as hell. What the hell kind of teddy bear is that? So a dad and a son goes bird watching, and the boy sees the owl, and the owl does like a dramatic turn, and then the boy runs away because he's like, I don't want to play this game anymore. And then owl grabs the dad with terrible CGI and then gets his body ripped apart, dumped in the river. So Christopher Robin is back in therapy again, and the therapist puts him in a hypnosis, and he gets flashbacks of Pooh in the garden, and that is the phase of a nightmare. Looks like he's gonna find you in your sleep. It turns out that Christopher Robin had a twin brother called Billy, and they were playing in the woods, and Billy got kidnapped in the woods by a random dude. That's why he's been having like PTSD, because his brother went missing and was kidnapped by a guy. Not because of those people that he witnessed getting killed, no, not because of his fiance, because of Pooh and the gang becoming animalistic. Like, no, he's sad because his twin brother's gone. Since when did Christopher Robin even have siblings, let alone a twin brother? But anyway, Lexi is babysitting a policeman's grandson, and we see that Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 1 is on the TV. So you're probably thinking, what? How is the movie within movie? Is that supposed to be a movie that happened within a movie? Like, to be honest, stuff like this confuses me. This is what I wrote down in my note. In the in-universe, Blood and Honey 1 is a reconstruction of what Christopher Robin did to these girls. Like, because they made movies on him, they think that this is how Christopher Robin killed these people, which I would explain later, because there is so many things that are completely confusing about the in-universe thing. It confuses me, and it completely contradicts everything that happened in the first movie. I think I prefer it when they didn't talk. This is just so goofy. A bunch of police officers investigate a dark room, and the door opens, and one of the policemen gets killed by an unknown figure. The policeman goes, fuck it, let's bounce, and then we hear a really creepy voice. The unknown figure goes, that's my line.
Fuck it, let's bounce.
That's my line.
The family discuss the therapy session and the disappearance of Billy and what happened. But then Christopher Robin goes on the internet and looks at articles about a bunch of children who have gone missing in the 100-acre woods. And it kind of makes me laugh that only now he decides to research this. Didn't you research this before, the minute Billy went missing? Why are you researching this now? And he's highlighting disturbing practices or something, or unexplained coincidence or whatever he was searching. He was highlighting a load of stuff. A dude called Arthur Gallup kidnapped a bunch of children and experimented on them. A police asked questions on where Christopher Robin was, and that they still think that he killed these people, but Christopher Robin has an alibi, so he can't have killed them. So he goes out, meets up with his friends, and then they meet at a club that is being set up, and one of the girls talk about how Christopher Robin is being so popular for apparently killing people, and that they don't want him in the party because people will be calling him a murderer and people won't like him because of the rumors. But then he leaves. he goes to the hospital and then talks to this dude about what happened, and he tells Christopher Robin that you were right. And then he just like shows his face, which I can't show, but it's just, his face has just all been fucked up. Like, he doesn't even have a mouth or anything, like it's all been destroyed. Then this guy stares at Christopher Robin, runs away, and then Christopher just follows him. Christopher Robin's friend comes out of the shower, and then he walks into a cool lighting and is confused. And then Al comes out of nowhere, and then he just says, "There is no God," and then vomits acid on this guy's face, and he dies, which is gross to watch. What the fuck? So Christopher Robin follows this guy, breaks into his house, confronts him, and the guy goes, "Well, I can see you're very upset." And then this guy just explains to Christopher Robin that Arthur Gallup made him kidnap a bunch of kids for him, and the reason for this guy, the reason why he kidnapped those kids is because he thought that Arthur Gallup would pay off his debts. He regrets doing it because he was married and he had wife and kids, and he tells Christopher that Gallup killed the kids, buried them, but they came back to life, and now they are genetic modified mutant abomination looking ass monsters. Which means, you guessed it, Winnie the Pooh is actually Christopher Robin's twin brother, and that Pooh and his friends are just the kidnapped kids. I mean, as soon as he started reading the article about a lot of kids disappearing in 100 Acre Woods and that disturbing practices, and a guy called Arthur was experimenting on kids, I was like, oh, of course, he's probably gonna be his brother or something, because he's a kid who went missing. The genetic mutant abomination, I don't know how to explain it. This takes so much of the runtime. This goes on for way too long, so I had to like skip half of these bits because these bits are just really, really long. It just takes up the runtime. Like, it's so long. So I'm not gonna bore you with the long stuff. I'm gonna get to the point. So he talks about how he's guilty, and that because he had a wife and a kid, that his wife left him because of all of this, and he says, "God forgive me," and then the dude commits the unthinkable. Then Lexi hears that someone broke into the house and tells the boy, but he doesn't believe her at first until he hears something. They hide. Who comes out of nowhere, looks for them, and then there's a toy with a camera. Who sees this, stomps on it, and they are able to escape, and the police car is outside, and they tell about Pooh and how he's in the house. And then one girl goes in, investigates. Pooh sees her and then rips her arm off. He rips her arm off, and then he bitch slaps her with her own arm, and then shoves it in her mouth, and she looks like a houseplant. That is the most embarrassing fucking death. She got bitch slapped by her own arm. What? The worst death I've ever seen in a movie. Christopher's in a car, and he's just listening to a recording of Arthur Gallup talking about Winnie and his friends, and how they are not only just mutant abomination, whatever the fuck they are, they can also regenerate as well. They have regenerative abilities, which is just, I thought it was bad enough that they became mutant. They were mutant abomination, whatever the fuck. But no, now they can regenerate, just like Doctor Who. Meanwhile, we get Al just flying all over the place, like he's just... He's very hyper, like somebody take his sweets away or something. Like, this guy's far too high for this. Lexi calls Christopher and tells him that you were right. Christopher's mother does the dishes in the dark for some reason, and Pooh stares at her, but she doesn't see Pooh, but is suspicious. And then she opens the knife, sorts the knives out, but then she sees Pooh and then gets impaled by the knives, and she dies. The dad hears this from upstairs after he's talking to Bunny, goes and checks his wife, but gets killed by Pooh off screen, so we don't see what happens to him. I want to mention something. The way this woman screams, she screams like she's getting murdered, which she is getting murdered, but it's just the way this guy acts when he finds out that his wife is just screaming to the top of her lungs. He doesn't seem that surprised. Like, he's like, what's going on? Like, and then, like, most people would just be like freaking out, running down, wondering what the fuck was going on, and then like witnessing like someone's death, but he just seems very calm. He's just like, I better go see what your mum's screaming about. Like, what the stupid. And then Bunny goes down and she sees Pooh, and then Pooh sees her, and then we just shift to the next scene where Christopher Robin comes back and is upset that Pooh has killed his parents and has kidnapped Bunny. Then we cut to the rave where everyone's dancing, having a great time. Owl and Pooh decide to have fun by executing hundreds of people. Pooh impales this dude for laughing at his costume. And then he chases this girl, throws a bear trap on her head, and he scores a home run with her head. Everyone is screaming as Pooh is killing everyone at the club. Lexi tries to persuade the police that Christopher Robin's in danger, but they don't really listen to her. They just go, calm down, calm down. Pooh chases these people in the hall. Pooh just unexpectedly runs weird. When did he start running like that? Why is he running like that? I don't know what's worse, him running like this or running like that. Anyway, we get a bunch of people trying to hide, but out comes Tigger, just looking angry as ever, covered in blood.
Hello, everyone.
Then he starts slitting and killing people. He goes around calling every woman he sees a bitch.
Come here, you fluorescent bitch.
Kills this girl with his claws as Feather comes out. It looks like he's just digging for treasure. Lexi goes in her car to find Christopher Robin to inform him about Pooh, which he already knows. This is something I found kind of funny as well. Look how close Lexi is to Christopher Robin. Like, you're only like a block away. You don't even need to drive. You can just walk or run. Pooh is on a killing spree. Then he chases this girl who climbs and falls, watches Pooh come towards her, and then he bludgeons her to death. I'm gonna have to blur a lot of this out because this is far too graphic. One girl has her eye ripped out and Tigger has them, and he picks on her, and his CGI tail is a mess. They do like a Freddy Krueger sort of reference. Like, he's just calling her a bitch.
Better watch where you're going, bitch.
But then she falls to her death. One girl tries to hide from Tigger, but her stupid friend shouts, "It's below you," and then gets her killed.
It's below you!
You ass bitch.
Christopher finds one girl and she tells him that she's sorry, and that Tigger finds him and he goes, "Hello, Christopher Robin."
Hello, Christopher.
Then Christopher shoots him. This girl holds on to Tigger, but she gets killed, and Christopher Robin just starts shooting at Tigger after he leaves. Like, he's not even looking at where he's aiming at, he's just shooting all over the place. Pooh carries on hunting people down. He finds this girl and then punches her on the forehead. Sees this guy hiding in the incinerator and then burns him alive. And then this girl like grabs onto Pooh. But Pooh grabs her, drills this girl's head, and then saws her head off, which is just, it's far too graphic. Like, I can't even show this because it's so bad. And then sees the other girl, grabs her head, and then pulls her head off. Grabs a chainsaw to find Christopher Robin by chasing him in the woods. So Christopher Robin and Winnie are in the woods, and Christopher wants to know where his sister is. They begin to fight with Pooh has a chainsaw, and Christopher Robin has like a pipe or a crowbar, whatever he has. Pooh makes his chainsaw go on fire and tries to kill Christopher Robin. Before Pooh can kill Christopher, he sees his grave and then gets a flashback of him coming out of the woods. Christopher apologizes for what happened, but Pooh tries to strangle him, but Lexi comes out of nowhere but fights Pooh off. But Pooh is stopped by Christopher Robin after Christopher Robin has an axe, shouting Pooh. It hits Pooh with the axe on his head, and Pooh goes, "Oh bother."
Oh bother.
And let me tell you something, that was not the voice I was expecting. When I think of Pooh, I think of him as like a cute sort of like oh bother sort of type, you know, like it's a cute way.
Oh bother.
Why does Pooh sound like he smokes 20 times a day? Like he smokes 20 a day.
Oh bother.
To be honest, all of these creatures so far have all like they smoke 20 a day. But anyway, Pooh gets his head impaled and falls into the grave, and he's dead. Christopher just talks to Lexi about Bunny and how that he's sad that he didn't get to save his sister like he said he would. But the police find her and then they just tell her that she was in the woods. And then the siblings reunite with calm music. Bunny, with her terrible teddy bear, throws the teddy bear out of the car, and yeah, well done, because that teddy bear looked terrible. It had teeth in that. What the movie ends, but then if you skip forward, right, you see post credits, and it's Owl, Pooh and Tigger and Piglet just in their hideout again, talks to them about getting revenge on Christopher Robin. Owl just says like, our friendship is our strength, and I'm like, how can you say that when you ate Eeyore? Like, you ate him and buried him, like, and you blame Christopher Robin for doing that? What? But anyway, so Owl says, we will be back for you, Christopher Robin, and then he does like this stereotypical bad guy laugh.
Back for you, Christopher Robin.
And then the movie just ends. So that's Winnie the Pooh 2 for you guys. Well, I could say that the second movie had a story that I could follow. Like, it wasn't just a slasher movie that was completely like unexplained. Like in the first movie, they barely had a story. They had a few stories where they talk about Maria's stalker or Christopher Robin going to college, but like it's barely brought up in the movie, and it just didn't make sense. It just wasn't needed. Like, it didn't have any development. I just found it pointless. But in the second movie, they actually had a story, but it was kind of made in a weird way, like if you think about it, because he seems to be more, I don't know, he seems to be more focused on his brother going missing rather than the massacre that happened in the first movie. This is the positives, right? This is the positive. Let me try to actually think of something positive before I get to the negative. All I can say is that they actually had a story in this movie and it was watchable, unlike the first movie, which was unwatchable. Pooh and the gang had personalities and they looked better than the first one. I mean, look at the difference. Like, we have one that looks like you could buy their mask from Amazon and it's not believable. Then we have the other one that looks like he could find me in my sleep and rip my insides out. The budget was better, even though it was a $500,000 budget. It was better than the first budget because it was $100,000 budget, which made me laugh because I was like, oh, no wonder this first movie is so shit. The budget isn't even that great. Even though it's low budget, it's a massive improvement to the first movie. The kills are significantly better, and it's dark and it's very graphic and it's not boring. The kills are like not stereotypical. I mean, there are a few that might be stereotypical, but they are proper better, and for the first time, right, the second movie with the kills were so goddamn graphic, like it scarred me for life. So the fact that they are mutant abomination is interesting. Like, I mean, I have my doubts about that sort of, like, what they are exactly. Like, let me talk about the positives about it first before I get to the negative. So with the positive, I guess you could say, like, it's a cool way to explain what they are. Like, it's better than saying that, oh, they're just people in masks. Like in the first movie, we weren't even sure if they were mutant abominations, because as far as we're concerned, they were just two dudes in masks, just walking slow as fuck. Like, but in the second movie, they get straight to the point and are like, no, they are genetic modified mutant abominations, and yeah, that's what we want. And I was like, oh, okay, you know what? It's better because, like, at least you explained what they are, even though they look way too old. So that's the positives for that. And yeah, again, they don't look like Halloween masks that you would buy on Amazon for £20. I liked the rave. Like, it was very creative. Like, I think that was like the scene that I liked the most. Like, that's the only scene that did not make me fall asleep. But yeah, I like the rave. It was very creative. So the characters in the movie are better. Like, there are a few that are like pointless characters that only last for like a full-blown like 5 minutes. For instance, Christopher Robin's friend who got killed by Owl. The father and son who were bird watching. I don't even know why they're even in this movie. Maybe for Owl to kill someone. The characters were better. They weren't like that bad. The acting was 10 times better than the acting in the first movie, because in the first movie, only Maria's acting was the only one I could take seriously. The others I just could not. Like, some of their acting were just sarcasm. Like, it was really, really bad. And Christopher Robin, I'm glad they picked this guy as Christopher Robin, because the other Christopher Robin wouldn't shut the fuck up every time he was crying, and he repeats himself a lot, and he let Mary die in cold blood. So Lexi, I like her character. I think she's probably one of my favourite characters because she doesn't come across as annoying. In the first movie, you would probably feel sympathy for Maria, but because her dialogue was so dirty, right, it just completely made me just like her and then hate her at the same time because of the stupid things they made her do in the movie. But with this movie, they're like, no, we're gonna bring characters that people will like and people won't get pissed off at. So overall, the characters in this movie is a lot better than the characters in the first movie, so I give them credit for that. And to the negatives about this movie, I mean, it's still not a great movie because it's Winnie the Pooh. I mean, how am I supposed to take this seriously when it's Winnie the Pooh? And also because you ate Eeyore, right? I can't forgive you for that unless you bring Eeyore back. Like, they want to focus more on the twin brother Billy than Pooh. But at this point, you forget that Pooh and the gang are even after him because, like, I'm so focused on the story that I even forgot that this was a slasher film for a second. Because they gave you like a Five Nights at Freddy reference. And I was more drawn into that sort of story, and then I just completely forgot that Pooh and the gang are after him, and I was like, oh yeah, this is a horror movie. The runtime is very long. Like, it's just, I think with the Scottish dude and Christopher Robin talking, that scene went on for too long. It was interesting to know why he did what he did, but it was just really, really long. The movie is very predictable the minute you watch the movie. If you watch the movie for the very, very first time, you will predict like literally about 10 things the minute you watch the movie, because this movie is very, very predictable. I predicted a lot of things in this movie, especially when it came to the mutant abomination theory when Christopher Robin was looking up those articles. Yeah, there was just a few scenes that I like instantly predicted. Like, this movie is so predictable, it made me laugh. I was like, oh my god, like, I swear I haven't watched the movie, it's just very predictable. The first movie is a reconstruction of what Christopher Robin did to the girls and how he murdered them. I get that, but what confuses me about that is that so Christopher Robin, right, is the guy in the mask, right? But it can't be though, because that's Christopher Robin, the one who started crying like a pussy. But I'm confused then. So if that's Christopher Robin, the one who's crying like a little baby, right? Who's this guy in the mask? Is he just some random dude they just like brought up being like, yeah, we need you to flip in, play Christopher Robin, but make it confused. I don't know. I was more confused on who the guy in the mask was, but I mean, you could argue that they are mutant abominations and that's Billy, but if you think about it, we didn't even know Billy existed, like, in the first movie. As far as I was concerned, Christopher Robin was an only child and he didn't even have any siblings. So to think that would have been Billy in the mask would have just been confusing for people, because people would be like, first of all, who the fuck is Billy? Like, who's Billy? Like, you just brought up a random person that we don't know from the original. But so the whole in-universe thing confuses me because I don't know what's real and what isn't, and the characters in the in-universe, when it comes to Christopher Robin particularly, his part in it, right, it confuses me because I don't know if he's the guy in the mask or if he's the little pussy Christopher Robin. I don't know. I don't even want to fucking like try to even break it down because the whole in-universe thing is confusing already, and I wouldn't be surprised if they had a lot of people complaining about the in-universe nonsense. So the lighting could have been better. It was very dark. I get it's a horror movie, but it's so dark that you can't see what is happening. For instance, right, those dudes in the woods, right, it was so hard for me to even find out. It was so hard for me to even find out what killed them in the first place because it was so dark. You couldn't really make out what was going on. All you could see is a bunch of dudes getting killed and screaming. That's about it. So, yeah, the lighting could be a little better, but I just know that if they filmed it in daytime, it would probably take you away from the movie because you'd look at these creatures and you probably wouldn't take them seriously because of how they are poorly designed. They look scary, but would you really take them seriously in broad daylight? I think they decided to do it in nighttime because it would make it look more atmospheric and more scary. Like, you know, build up tension, make it, you know, make people shit themselves. But yeah, I can't even blame them for having that bad of a lighting because the budget isn't even great. So because they're just completely betrayed by their budget. So if the budget was better, then the lighting would have been better. But because the budget is so low, the lighting isn't great. So I can't even blame them for that. It's just the budget that they're given is just awful. Not only is it Winnie the Pooh, but the fact that they can talk now. Why are they talking? I don't know why the hell they talk. It's more funny that I can't even take them seriously when they talk. Owl talks like Ivan from Power Rangers. I used to watch Power Rangers and I remember Ivan from Power Rangers, and Owl kind of sounds like him a little bit. If Ivan smoked 20 a day. I mean, in the first movie, the girl did say they speak broken English, but they vowed never to speak again. I mean, Pooh barely spoke. He only said his one line, "Oh bother." I think it's the most entertaining to watch. Like, he had a lot of funny dialogues. Like, he said the word bitch all the time, and again, he barely had anything to say, really. He didn't really have that much, like, lines. Piglet looks worse. A lot of people are saying Piglet looks better. Maybe because he doesn't look like a guy in a mask. I mean, I get that, but he doesn't look any better in the second one. Yeah, my critique is just Piglet, really, because he was barely in the movie and he didn't even kill anyone. He just wasn't that great. I don't know why they brought him. I don't know why they even brought him back if he was just gonna die again in like 15 minutes. Would just say like all of Ashdown will burn, but who cares? And he also got his head blown off. Alan literally never shuts the fuck up. He acts like he is top dog and he is like better than all of them, but he talks too much. It's annoying. I mean, stupid. So we just found out that these animals can regenerate, meaning that they will come back to life and go around killing people again. Where the fuck was Rabbit? Rabbit wasn't even here again. He just went AWOL again. Like, we had Tigger. Like, in the first movie, I did say we'll never know what happened to them, but now we do know what happened to them. They just come out of nowhere. But Rabbit is still AWOL again. Like, what happened to him? Is he gone again? Is he gonna be in the Blood and Honey 3? I don't know. Eeyore is still 6 feet under. Why not regenerate him? Oh wait, the arseholes ate his remains and used his tail as a prop and created his headstone out of cardboard. Wow. Great friends. And they have the audacity to blame Christopher Robin for his death. So Christopher Robin goes to college, which is a shitty reason for why Pooh and the gang are just after the guy. Oh my god, I can't speak. So Christopher Robin goes to college. Pooh and the gang are angry at him, eat Eeyore, and they blame Christopher Robin for it. What makes no sense, right? If take away the college thing, like get rid of that, right? They're angry because they are now modified mutant abomination, whatever the fuck you want to call it, right? So why not be angry at Arthur Gallup because he created you? He turned you into those. Why not be angry at the Scottish guy who kidnapped you? Like, why would you be angry at Christopher Robin for this? Like, he didn't do anything. Like, all he did was go to college, right? Which is such a bad reason. Like, okay, but if anything, you'd be asking Christopher Robin for help. You wouldn't be killing him because of what a scientist did to you. Like, okay, but it just confuses me because, like, one minute we're like talking about Christopher Robin going to college, the next minute we're on with the scientist and his brother. Like, it's the whole in-universe thing is just all over the place. Like, it's not believable. Like, it's confusing. Like, it just makes me so confused on what is real in this movie and what isn't. Like I said, Maybe they'll explain it in Blood and Honey 3. I don't know. If you guys don't know, they're going to make Blood and Honey 3, which is probably going to come out in 2026. Pretty much after the Pooniverse. Yeah, there's a movie called Pooniverse. But they are also releasing Bambi. They've released Peter Pan, which I need to watch at some point. But yeah, they are planning to release Bambi and the Pooniverse. The Poonie. Oh my god, even saying the name sounds goofy. I remember telling my friend this. The name, the Pooniverse name, and she said it was the most goofiest name she's ever heard, and that even saying it would just make me laugh. So yeah, so that is the end of my discussion on Winnie the Pooh. Like, overall, I don't think it's a bad film. It's still not great, but it's a massive improvement, and the characters were very likable, unlike some characters in Blood and Honey 1 where they just weren't even trying with the acting or just started crying half the time. Like, yeah, so that's the end, guys, and thank you for watching my video on Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2. I will sure to make a movie on Blood and Honey 3 at some point whenever this movie gets released. It could be in 2026 or they could postpone it to 2027. I do not know, but like and subscribe for more videos, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.